For years now, drivers smuggling illegal immigrants in southern Arizona is putting lives in danger. The migrants, law enforcement, and innocent people who happen to be out on the road. We see the smugglers being arrested, but what punishment do they actually face? Well, tonight we are digging into that question. Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Dan Maries.
And I'm Mary Coleman. 13 News reporter Alex Valdez joins us live tonight. Alex, what is the typical sentence for people involved in human smuggling?
Well, Mary and Dan, typically, every case is different, but one defense attorney tells me in the 3 months it's fairly common for people being sentenced with no criminal history or aggravating factors. But even if they have any aggravating factors, the offender still might get off with serving minimal time. Nicholas Loncar, a defense attorney here in Tucson, says it's normal to have around 40 people appear in court each day here in Pima County for immigration-related crimes.
In those initial appearances, you will really overwhelmingly see that immigration enforcement, immigration-related crimes make up no less than 90%.
Data shows just this year, more than 4,000 people who entered or re-entered the country without proper documentation were sentenced, with 864 cases filed against people who are responsible for human smuggling.
Whether there are aggravating factors, for instance, did they flee from law enforcement? Did they place migrants in the trunk of the vehicle? The number of migrants.
For one example, just this month, a man from Rio Rico was sentenced to 40 months in prison after pleading guilty to one count of transportation of an undocumented person for profit.
40 months is probably very close to the high end of what you'll see as a sentence for alien smuggling. That would likely be someone who has pretty significant criminal history and had aggravating factors specific to their offense.
Wei Wang, the criminal division chief for the Tucson U.S. Attorney's Office, says sentencing is determined by the circumstances of the crime. In another case, a 22-year-old woman from Phoenix was sentenced to a year and a day in prison after pleading guilty to conspiring to transport undocumented people using social media to advertise and recruit drivers.
When a sentence is for 12 months and a day or higher, there's good time credits that are taken off. And so a person who is sentenced to 12 months and a day will actually serve less time than someone who's sentenced to 11 months.
Loncar says the likelihood of an offender getting sentenced to the max, which is 10 years, is very unlikely. He says he hasn't heard or seen someone getting that max sentence.
Really, any person with no criminal history, probation is not uncommon.
Wang says every prosecution leads to the possibility of capturing a criminal higher up in the food chain. Getting details from a person who was driving migrants can lead to the arrest of the people organizing the smuggling. Reporting in studio, Alex Valdez, 13 News.
Alex, thank you. And this comes as migrants are